Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of The Throw, featuring Golden Guardians versus Team Liquid. Now, moving into this game, Golden Guardians are very much even as far as gold and map state goes with Team Yell. However, Golden Guardians have this very, very powerful late game scaling team composition, and even if they get to a point where they are super scaling in their 5 versus 5 but are unable to 5v5 because of the state of the map, Vladimir will eventually just out 1v1 Kennen, and as the game goes on, even if they aren't able to get that kind of dream 5v5 this kind of composition really hopes for, they still are going to be more powerful than TL in pretty much every scenario. So Golden Guardians moving into this play are ahead simply because we're at 27 minutes and they haven't fallen terribly far behind yet. And moving into this play, they are not really pressured to be doing anything. Team Liquid doesn't have significant pressure onto the map right now. They've already broken the 1-3-1, and Golden Guardians could really just afford to back off and reset the map, let the game extend, and push that scaling advantage even further. The more gold that is in the game overall, the more advantage GGS gets. So they can really just kind of sit on that and let the game extend without taking risky plays like this. However, Double Lift was just a moment earlier, a little too far forward in the lane, and he ate a little more than a third of his HP in chunk damage, which allowed Golden Guardians to kind of push up, and they're trying to get down this turret, get a little bit of extra global gold to kind of accelerate their late game scaling team composition. So moving into this play, it starts out with Ollie walking in to hit the turret for whatever reason. The Braum auto attack damage onto the tower is really not relevant to their ability to kill it, and as a result of him walking in, I guess he's trying to fish for Qs onto members of Team Liquid, or for whatever reason, Ollie decides it's really important that he walk forward here, and as a result, he just eats a bunch of random Ezreal chunk damage. Yeah, he gets to land a Q onto Core JJ to maybe push for some engage that isn't necessary here. Yeah, he manages to get Double Lift to walk closer towards where Hanser is to force some engage that, again, isn't really necessary here. So I really am not fond of Ollie kind of walking up here. He takes a huge chunk, which really takes him out of the fight, because really the main thing you're looking to do as a Braum is be able to soak up skill shots and soak up damage for your teammates, and you can't do that if you have less health than them, especially if you just take one skill shot or one Lee Sin Q double cast and just die. So Ollie really kind of failing to do his job here in any significant way because Golden Guardians is getting a bit too over aggressive. I do want to also, in this freeze frame, call your attention to Hanser as he's walking past Impact right here. He already has 2 stacks of the Kennen passive, which basically means that even if when he manages to get over this wall and onto Double Lift, he's still kind of priced into pooling immediately instead of pushing on top of Double Lift and trying to keep Double Lift out of the fight, because otherwise he's going to get stunned up by the Kennen passive and he's going to get bursted down, which Golden Guardians can't really afford to have happen. And so we'll kind of see the play as it plays out. The Vladimir flashes in, throws the Hemoplague, Double Lift instantly flashes out. Fortunately for Golden Guardians, Impact manages to miss the Q onto Hanser, which would have stunned him and would have been very bad for the outcome of this fight as far as Golden Guardians is concerned. But even so, Hanser is now basically burned everything onto Double Lift. He doesn't really have a way to get back to push forward onto Double Lift outside of using the Proto Belt here, which with the Hex Drinker isn't enough damage to really get Double Lift down. On top of that, there is still a Tahm Kench that is right here. I understand that Golden Guardians have this kind of dream team fight in their head where they Cataclysm the Tahm Kench to stop him from getting in range of Double Lift, to stop the Devour from coming through so they can burst down Double Lift and then burst out Tahm Kench. And it's to some extent really unfortunate that Contracts isn't quite able to get that range on the Cataclysm, that Core JJ is actually able to get close enough to Double Lift to devour him within the Cataclysm. On top of that, you see the Karthus Assault come out. It looks like it was originally intended to finish off Double Lift, which is a little bit silly because he was very, very close to dying from the Hemoplague anyway. And Yeah, he also got devoured by the Tahm Kench. So just right now, there's nobody that the Karth Assault is even going to trigger Dark Harvest on. It's not accomplishing anything. On top of that, Alia is already dead. Definitely is now sitting here between an ulted Kennen and a Lee Sin, which is abysmal for the Tristana. I'm going to back up a little bit so we can see the way that interaction plays out. And something actually a little bit silly here. We see the Kennen ultimate combined with the natural counter to that, the Tristana ulting the Kennen back, and then the natural counter to that, the Lee Sin ulting the Tristana back into the Kennen ultimate. It actually works out pretty beautifully for Team Liquid. So, ultimately, there were really a few small things that kind of fell apart for TL, or for Golden Guardians. The contracts, Cataclysm just kind of barely not being able to keep Core JJ from devouring Double Lift was really unfortunate. Combine that with Ale walking up and getting really hardcore chunked and not really being able to participate in this fight in any meaningful way, with Hanser kind of going in and getting very lucky to not get stunned, but still walking in a way that really exposes him to the Kennen ultimate, to the Kennen passive. Really a not fantastically executed team fight from either team. Double Lift could have not gotten chunked down earlier. He could have been more aware of where Hanser was and not allowed Hanser to get so close to him, as well as Impact could very easily have landed his Q onto Hanser and stunned up Hanser, and Hanser would have just died. So both teams didn't necessarily play this particularly cleanly. However, messy team fights, especially ones that have Golden Guardians, the scaling team, as the aggressor, and that just kind of don't work when they blow all their burst and it doesn't effectively hit anybody, are going to favor Team Liquid, and Team Liquid is really more powerful at this stage in the game. Even though the game state is even, their champions are stronger in this kind of mid-game point, and that will stop being the case as the game goes longer, which is why Golden Guardians would have been better suited to just take the turret and back off, or not even take the turret. Just let that gold stand, get it later, and let the game extend. Ultimately, it was a messy, over-aggressive team fight that Golden Guardians did not really take, and that is how a clean turret take from the Golden Guardians turned into the throw. Thanks for watching.
Going to be taken down to about half HP. Hanser versus Impact here off the side. Tier 1 turret going to be taken very low. Xmithy also zoned away to the side of the map here as Ole nearly killed off. Into the back goes Xmithy, looking to make that one happen. There goes Impact getting himself knocked out.